All right, C2. So, why is it important specifically to analyze trends?
It helps you plan ahead, pretty much. It's hard to analyze trends when you're starting off with analytics, right?
Right.
You have to do that whatsoever. But when you're looking at when you have 1 year, 2 year, your trends change every year. And when you look at an overall picture after 2, 3 years, and 4 years, you have a general picture of what to expect from your website and things like that. The more data you have, the more accurate it gets, but it might also change based on the product you're selling and things like that. But if you don't analyze trends, you don't know what to expect. You have no idea what's going to happen in January, February.
Right.
If you have to buy more stocks, if you need to order more shirts for what you're selling online, if you need to order more raw materials, if you need to order more, I don't know, pens because you have more trade shows or whatever it is, or whatever product you're selling,
Mm-hmm.
you need to know how you're selling it at every single point of time during the year, throughout the year. And that will allow you to staff yourself better, allow you to get better inventory in general. That you know what kind of cash flow to expect, what kind of expenses you can make based on the cash money coming in that you're going to get, and things like that. So the more data you get, the more accurate it gets, but you have to keep doing it. It's not just something you do one time. You have to keep doing it every single time.
Because they'll change. They'll keep changing as things goes on.
It gets better. It gets more accurate and things like that. You just don't know ever. Trend,
So it helps you be more proactive and predictive, I guess.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. So this is actually a question that our instructor asked us in one of our discussions. His name's Dr. Philip Arlen. It's how important is it for you to master analytics technology before you start to apply strategic thinking to its application? Or should you lead with strategy and then master the technology?
I say just do it. I'm one of the guys that said don't wait until you master it, because you will never master it.
Right.
You just never will. And not only you never will, is like I said earlier, SEO changes so much. Analytics change so much. Google is the key player in this world. I mean, we all know it.
Yeah.
And Google changed their analytics. Okay, so I read something about this, and don't quote me. It's not a real number I'm going to say here.
Right.
But we update the SEO algorithm more than 2 to 5 times a day.
Wow.
A day. So imagine, there's just no way for you to keep up with it. There's no way you're going to master. There's no way you're going to know everything you need to know. So thinking about it this way, I say just do it. Set up something, do it, and based on what you're getting, just tweak. Obviously, you don't want to be too crazy over it. If you have data that 1 month worth is probably not enough, for you to make a strategic decision based on that data.
Yeah.
So don't be dumb about it. Think about it. Make sure you're making something that is an educated guess at that point. Until you're comfortable enough, then you can say, you know what, now I'm comfortable enough. I can make better decisions. But don't wait until you master it, because you'll never will.
Right. Cool. What's the most superficially tempting metric that's really just not worth wasting your time over? But people think like, oh, that looks good, I'll probably look at that, but it's really just kind of just superficial.
Well, to be fair, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because not one single data is worthless.
Okay.
When I'm looking at my data overall, when I'm looking at my dashboard, they're all important. They all have their value. They only lose value when you pair them with something else.
Okay.
And that's the whole point of analyzing your data. So like earlier I said, when you look at your website, you just launched this website last night, and today you have 1,000 people on the website. Oh my God, that's freaking amazing. I just launched it yesterday. I have 0 posts online. I didn't put anything on Facebook, nothing on Instagram, and here I am with 1,000 people. That means I'm not going to do great in this business. Yes, you will, totally. However, that might change very quickly when you realize that every person who is looking at your website, it's actually not a person. It's just a bot somewhere that is just tracking your website because something new online, and they're like, ooh, maybe I can spam this guy and make some money of this guy. So every single metrics is important. It's just that when you start pairing them with all the data, then you realize, okay, maybe this is not so important. But I wouldn't say I don't think there's anything out there that is worthless. I really don't think so.
Right. So you can't just look at the bounce rate or the exit percentage or just anything.
No, when you think about your bounce rate, what does your bounce rate mean? Okay, so I was going to give you an example, right? I have a website and I'm selling a product. I have a photo booth. This is real life.
Yeah.
Real example. I have a photo booth business. Okay, I set up my website. I don't put my prices on the website. Okay, so I get a whole bunch of people coming. My bounce rate is really low at that point. Because guess what? Everybody's spending time on my website. They're reading about it. They're trying to understand, like, oh, this guy looks good. I'm going to email him, and they email me. So my bounce rate is low. Okay?
Right.
Yeah. My conversion rates, which is people at my website level, is to make sure people send me a message.
Mm-hmm.
My conversion rate is high. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
On the back end, though, people come in, and it's now my return rate is really low because guess what? As soon as I give them my pricing, they're like, "Ooh, too expensive. I'm out."
Yeah.
And then I add my pricing to my website. The bounce rate goes up. This guy's out of his mind. I'm not paying that for a photo booth. Okay, conversion rate is higher because at that point people don't know the price. They're serious about it. Like, I can afford this guy. I want this guy. I'm gonna message him right now.
Right.
And then that rate's pretty much the same when they reach out to me. Now, they either like me or they don't like me, and then based on that, they book me.
Yeah.
But at that point, my return rate is higher because the people who came to my website were serious about buying.
Right.
So guess what? I have a low bounce rate. I make less money. I have a high bounce rate. I make more money. Guess what? I'm going to take the high bounce rate. I don't care about that. Right.
Right.
You know? When people tell you, oh, look at your bounce rate, because that's what everybody will tell you. Oh, look at that's the first thing you want to look at. I say, no. That's not the first thing you want to look at.
Yeah.
The bounce rate might mean that your website is not optimized for the people that for your bottom line.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So in your opinion, what's the most powerful web analytics solution out there?
There's not a single one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pair them with something else. So the three that I usually talk about is Kissmetrics, Mixpanel, and Google Analytics, obviously, right? There's another one that's Hotjar. It's out there. It's a little different. It's not as powerful as Mixpanel or Kissmetrics, but those are the three that I think are the best. Google Analytics, I'll set it up no matter what because it's the most comprehensive one. It does everything that all the other ones do. The only difference is it's not the push of a button like some of the other ones that are easier to set up. Sure. Some of them are just easier to set up, but when you start digging deep, Google Analytics is the one that has the most data, period. Now, how you mine that data, how you deal with that data is a different story, but I'll do Google Analytics and Kissmetrics and Mixpanel are the two. Everyone that have the preferences.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. In your mind, what's the toughest analytics dilemma you've ever run up against? Like, what was just head-scratching tough to figure out?
The bounce rates was one of them for sure. Trying to understand because when you start, everybody tells you, oh, you want to lower your bounce rate as much as possible. So it's figuring out how do I lower my bounce rate and still keep my return as high as possible.
Right.
It's hard. I don't think I haven't figured it out yet. And that's a challenge when you're explaining that to a client because the client sees that, the client here, when they talk to among each other, oh, the bounce rate has to be really low. Well, yeah, I know it has to be low. And if you want, I can make sure your bounce rate is low. If that's what you're trying to achieve, we'll make your bounce rate low. But I know that's not what you're trying to achieve. You want to make money.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. That's very challenging. The second most I'll say is figuring out your funnel, the right conversion rates in your funnels. And I don't know if you're familiar with funnels, but the way it works is simple. You have a whole bunch of people who come in, and then you have less people who go to the page you want them to go, and then you have less people who go to your shopping cart, have less people who buy your product. So you want to make sure that you convert as much as possible when people come to you.